Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at Lily-Rose Depp.
Oh, yeah.
And, we all know that name, but
Mhm.
we're going to be going beyond just, Johnny Depp's daughter, and really looking at her as an actress,
Right.
especially in light of her upcoming role in the new Nosferatu.
It's gonna be interesting.
And, she comes from this famous family, obviously, and that comes with a lot of privilege,
Sure does.
but also a lot of pressure.
Yeah, a lot of people probably
Yeah.
waiting for her to fail.
Yes, absolutely. And she actually says that.
Does she?
Yeah, in one of these interviews, she says, people have been ready to see me fail since I was a kid.
Wow.
So she's very aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like there's this expectation
Mhm.
that celebrity kids haven't, earned their success.
Right.
They've been handed everything.
Absolutely. Like it's all been given to them.
And it's a burden, that most people never have to face.
Totally. But here's what I think is so interesting about her. Instead of complaining about it, she's basically saying, bring it on.
Oh, wow.
She's like using that doubt as fuel to her fire to work even harder.
So she's turning it around and making it a positive.
Exactly. And I think that's a mindset a lot of us can learn from. Like, how do we take those negative expectations and turn them into motivation?
Well, it's fascinating how she does it.
Mm.
Like look at her early career choices.
Mm-hmm.
She could have gone the blockbuster route right away,
Totally.
but she chose indie films
Right.
roles that really demanded her to prove herself.
Absolutely. Like she's saying, I'm going to earn my stripes,
Yeah,
not just rely on my last name.
not just coast on that family name.
Exactly. And then you look at her choosing to do Nosferatu. I mean, it's a classic.
Big shoes to fill.
Huge expectations. And it would be easy to feel totally overwhelmed by that.
Right.
But she seems to be using it as this way to level up.
Yeah, it's like she's taking that pressure and using it to grow as an actress.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of ties into something else that she talks about. Okay. Which is this idea of finding her own identity. And I think that's something we can all relate to, right?
Absolutely.
Trying to figure out who we are in the world.
Especially when you feel like you're in
Yes.
someone's shadow
Exactly.
or trying to live up to these external expectations.
And for her, it's even more complex because she's navigating two famous parents.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole other layer right there.
Exactly.
So how does she,
Yeah.
like she's constantly trying to break free from those preconceived notions. Like, oh, she's just Johnny Depp's daughter.
Right.
Or, oh, she's just Vanessa Paradis' daughter. But she's trying to carve out a space that's just hers.
And she's doing it all under a microscope.
Right.
Imagine trying to define yourself with the whole world watching and judging every move.
I know. It's got to
Yeah.
be tough. It's a lot of pressure, for sure. But, there's this real sense of resilience there.
Yeah. I was just going to say.
She doesn't let it, stifle her creativity or her willingness to experiment. If anything, it seems like it pushes her even further.
Right. And, she's spoken about this too. Like she even mentions struggling with imposter syndrome,
Oh, really?
especially taking on this huge project like Nosferatu.
Makes sense.
And I just think it's so amazing that she's willing to be so open about that.
I think it's incredibly refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
She's this young woman who seemingly has every advantage,
Right.
but she's still admitting to the same self-doubt that so many of us feel.
Absolutely. It makes her so much more relatable. It's like a reminder that even with privilege and opportunity, we're all still human.
Yeah, we all have those moments where we question ourselves and our ability.
Exactly. And what's even more interesting is that she doesn't shy away from those feelings.
Right.
She talks about like getting over imposter syndrome, which means it's an active process for her.
Yeah, it's something she's working on.
Right. Like she's not letting it paralyze her. And I find that really inspiring,
Yeah, definitely.
especially for anyone who's, struggled with those feelings of not being good enough.
Right, or feeling like you don't belong.
Exactly. And it also kind of speaks to her work ethic, I think.
In what way?
Well, she doesn't just rest on her laurels, or assume that she's entitled to success just because of her name.
Yeah, she's putting in the work.
Right?
She's honing her craft.
Exactly. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, about
Yeah.
her constantly feeling like she's starting out.
Right.
Which is so different from how we usually think about celebrity kids.
It really is. It's a testament to her humility, I think, and her dedication to always learning.
And that really resonates with me.
Yeah.
It's like a reminder that success isn't this destination you reach.
Right. It's a journey.
Exactly. It's about constantly pushing yourself, embracing new challenges, being open to learning and evolving.
Having that growth mindset.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's a mindset that can benefit all of us.
Oh, absolutely.
No matter what our background is or what we do for a living.
Yeah, it's about viewing challenges as opportunities.
Right, not obstacles to be afraid of.
Exactly. And recognizing that we're all works in progress.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
More than okay.
It's essential for growth.
Right. And it's interesting to think about how this all ties back to her journey.
How so?
Well, by constantly pushing herself and seeking out these new challenges, she's taking control of her own narrative.
Right. She's not letting other people define her success.
Exactly. And I think that leads us to maybe the most powerful statement she made in all these interviews.
Oh, which one was that?
Her response to those who continue to judge her unfairly.
Oh, right. She basically just says...
Yeah, she's just like, that's not my problem.
Wow, it's like a total declaration of self-worth.
It really is, and it's so inspiring to me.
Yeah, it really does speak to her confidence and self-awareness, especially at her age.
It does, and it makes me wonder, how many of us are held back by what other people think?
Oh, all the time, right?
Yeah, like how much energy do we waste?
Trying to please everyone.
Right, or avoid criticism.
It's a trap it's so easy to fall into.
Totally. But I think that's what's so powerful about her statement.
It's like a reminder that we can't control other people's perceptions.
We can only control our own actions and reactions. So it's about choosing where we focus our energy.
Right. Are we going to let other people's opinions dictate our path?
Or are we going to stay true to our own vision?
Even if it means facing some negativity.
Exactly. And I think that's the key, right?
Yeah.
Not all criticism is created equal.
Right. Some feedback can be helpful. Some is just noise.
So how do we learn to tell the difference?
I think it starts with self-awareness.
Okay.
Really knowing your values, your strengths, your weaknesses.
And being honest with yourself about what truly matters.
Exactly.
It's funny. We started this whole deep dive talking about how Lily-Rose Depp is trying to break free from these expectations.
Right, because of her family name.
Exactly. And now we're talking about how we can all break free from expectations.
Whether it's family.
Right. Society, even our own inner critics.
It's a universal struggle.
It really is. We all have those voices in our heads.
Telling us we're not good enough.
Mm-hmm. But I think her journey shows us it's possible to quiet those voices.
Yeah, to create your own path.
And success isn't about pleasing everyone or being perfect.
Right. It's about pursuing your passions authentically.
Embracing those imperfections and using them to grow.
And realizing that real success is often in the journey itself.
Exactly, in the learning and the evolving.
Becoming the best version of yourself.
I love that. So as you go about your day, think about what we talked about today.
About Lily-Rose Depp.
Right, and ask yourself, what criticisms are holding me back?
And which ones are just noise?
And maybe, like her, you'll find that letting go of that need to please everyone.
And embracing your own unique path can be incredibly freeing.
And that's it for our deep dive today.
Into the world of Lily-Rose Depp.
We hope you enjoyed this conversation and that it gave you something to think about.
And maybe inspired you to embrace your own journey.
With a little more courage and conviction. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep shining.